Hey art fiends! Welcome back to the channel. Today we're jumping back into the Designs from Descriptions videos. This is the second of the series, so please be sure to go watch the first one if you enjoy this one. On my Discord server, I asked members to send me one-sentence descriptions that I will have to design a character from. I've picked 4 more of these descriptions, and I will be taking you guys through my design process. So sit back, relax, and enjoy these crazy character designs. First up is this description given to me by Milkbug. The description reads, "A candy bard who's really shy." This was one of the more straightforward descriptions I've been given, so for research, all I did was find an image of various candies to pull colors from. My idea of a candy bard was a bard who wore candy-inspired clothing and also candy-inspired colors. So I first started by posing this character in a very shy position. They have their knees knocked together and are holding their loot up defensively. The one bad thing about this pose is that it blocks a lot of the body, so a lot of my design choices will end up being hidden. But to show the shy part of the description, a pose that blocks some of the body is perfect, since it shows that they are protecting themselves because they are cautious of what's around them. I used elements of some bard outfits I found online as a reference for the outfit. The big hat was perfect for this character, helping to hide their face and further show their shy personality. For candy elements, I included a peppermint design throughout their clothing, as well as gave him some candy accessories. Moving on to colors, I end up using reds as the main element of the outfit colors. I have a mix of some muted reds for the main parts, but also use a bright red for highlights. I broke up the reds with some whites, and together this really makes the character look like a peppermint. For the body colors, I started in the blue range to bring something else to it, but I didn't like how the cool colors were playing with the warms of the outfit, so I ended up changing it to entirely warm colors, even making the skin more red as well. So here is this really shy candy bard. The second description was given to me by user YimYum. It says, "A bionic bird with demonic abilities." To start, I picked a bird that I wanted to use for this design. I ended up going with the shoebill, since those birds look terrifying from the front. They are also huge birds, so they would work really well for an intimidating demonic bird. After getting a rough understanding of the shoebill, I moved on to sketching the character itself. I posed it with its wings out to intimidate you. Since it was bionic, I planned a few places where the bird was made out of metal. One wing is robotic, as well as both legs, the neck, tip of the beak, and one of the eyes. I also will make one of the feathers on the tail metal, but I completely forgot to add that until the very end of the drawing. I wanted there to be an even mix of robot and real, but the legs I decided to go full robot, since the legs of a shoebill were already very thin and angular, as metal would be. To show the demonic abilities, I have these ghostly beings come out from the bird's back. Moving on to colors, I used blues as the base since the shoebill is a lighter blue color. I have some variety in the blues to show the layers of feathers and then make the beak a typical orange color. As for the metal, I use a mix of dark gray and light gray to show differentiation in the parts. For the spirits, I gave them a purple gradient to fit with this ghostly theme, as well as keeping it in the cool family to match the blues of the bird. I finally made the metal eye and the eyes of the spirits glow as to add this scary effect. After adding some dramatic shading, I have this demonic bionic bird. This next description was given to me by user Wah. It says, "A traveling witch who sells magical items to people in her snail shop." Unfortunately, my iPad didn't save this file right when going to save the speed paint, probably because of how big this drawing ended up being, so I'll have to show you guys this one through still images. Starting off with some reference sketches, I drew a few snails to understand the structure of this animal. I wanted to go with the idea of this snail having the shop inside of its shell, but it also travels with the witch as a kind of horse. In the final sketch, I added reins and a saddle to the snail's head and back. The spiral on the snail's shell was the perfect place to have the shop be located. I sketched this small girl into this area, having her raising the shutters on the store, showing that she just opened. I kept the witch very simple since she is so small in the scene, and she would be surrounded by a bunch of small details in her shop already. To really show that she's a witch, I placed a witch's hat on the counter. There's a wooden open sign hanging lopsided off the counter, as well as some small objects, behind the witch are shelves full of various potions. There's 2 plants off to the side to add a bit of decoration to the space. For colors, I used very common browns for the snail itself, adding a small blue gradient at the bottom of the snail's body to have some variation. Since there were a lot of browns and greens in the design of the snail, I decided to use those in the witch as well to get her to match. However, I used black as her main outfit color to help her stand out, as well as to relate her to witches a bit more. I then colored the bottles various different colors, shaded, and I had this snail shop witch. The final prompt I used for this video was given to me by user Doodle Sam. It says, a character who uses their hair as a weapon. This is a super fun concept and left it really open-ended for me to design something from. To start, I sketched some characters I already know of that use their hair as weapons to see what kind of designs used this idea. After that, I laid out a couple types of weapons the hair could be formed into. Although I was really close to going with fists, I ended up using an axe as the weapon, since I like the idea of this big singular blade swinging as the character swings their head. For the pose sketch, I wanted to lay this character out as if it was in the choose your character screen for a fighting game. I was being heavily influenced by the game Skullgirls, and I decided to just go for that idea. Since the hair was going to be this long whip-like shape, I wanted there to be a lot of space for the hair to be in. This led me to pose the character bending forward so the hair could be trailing behind them. My sketch of this hair ended up looking a lot more like a scythe than I intended it to be. Scythes make me think of Grim Reapers, which connect to the underworld, so I decided to have a subtle devil design on this character. Wherever this character is from, Grim Reapers in this world will have sentient hair as their scythes. With Skullgirl still on my mind, the clothes I gave her were a bit on the showy side. I'm a big fan of the character designs in Skullgirls, and they tend to give a lot of the girls more revealing clothing. Moving into colors, with the scythe in mind, I decided to make the hair a gray-silver color. To push the devil idea, I wanted a lot of darks and reds in the body and clothes of this character, and that idea also helps make the lighter color of the hair stand out. So this girl ended up with a darker skin tone and a lot of pinks and reds in her clothing. I then shaded the character, and I ended up with this Grim Reaper girl with a scythe as her hair. That was 4 more character designs made from descriptions. I do hope everyone is enjoying this series because I am having a lot of fun making these characters. If you didn't see the first episode and you do want more of this, please go watch it. If you would like to leave a description for me to create a design from, be sure to join my Discord server. There's a channel dedicated to just that. I have a lot of other character design related videos, some original, some based on fandoms, and some from your submissions. If you enjoy this type of content, be sure to subscribe to be here when I post more. If you want to see more of my work, be sure to check out the links to my socials, as well as my Patreon, all linked in the description below. With that, like, comment, share, and subscribe. All the things that the YouTubers say. Peace!